Hello, everybody, and welcome to Expansion Network, accelerating the consciousness of humanity every single day. This is show number 101. Yes, you heard it well. 101 shows already of the Ask Julius Show. That show in which the audience, you, everybody, all of you, thank you so much for doing that. You ask questions to Julius. And we are blessed with having Kasey Speer with us, who channels Julius and their group of entities. And we have all those responses of all those truths you always wanted to know. Hi, Kasey, how are you?
I'm so good, and realizing that today does fall on a holiday for most people. So we, of course, want to extend a happy holiday to those people who celebrate what's known to be Easter for many people. And if you don't celebrate it, welcome to Sunday, right? A beautiful Sunday with us, sending extraordinary energy out there, no matter where you are, in whatever space you sit. We love and honor you.
Absolutely. We love and honor you. And let's start really, really quick today because we know we're going to have a lot of things to ask and a lot of incredible answers from Julius and their group of entities. Let's start with a question from Adrienne. Adrienne, that's from last week. And the question is, I have one more question regarding death. I was told not to go to the light, but the darkness, as shown on the movie The Truman Show. Thoughts?
Yeah. So first thing we want to tell you, Master, is there is no such thing as death. You go in body, you go out of body. You go in body, you go out of body. Okay. We're going to support that the light, quote unquote, the light is your fear and your resistance to the experience in and out. That's what we know that to be. It's a form of a hesitation, it's a form of a blockage. You move into your next thought, just like you are doing here in your three-dimensional reality, in your embodied reality, not realizing that your thoughts and your emotions are guiding your experience. You are doing your thought and emotion right now, and you will do your thought and emotion the minute you go non-physical or out of body, for you do not have to have a brain to have a thought. So that's how it works. That's why out of body or death experiences are never the same. They're never the same. Okay. And how would you know, right? Because who are you going to talk to about that? Now, yes, a lot of people will proclaim that there's this light that we see, but we're going to tell you that's their fear. That's their fear and their hesitation to the experience. That's literally them fighting against their soul leaving their body. So we don't support dark or light, whatever you do, Master. You're going to go into your next thought and your emotion. You are not going to become this enlightened being. You're not suddenly going to have all of your problems resolved. You're not suddenly going to remember that you're source. You are in a never-ending, ongoing state to remember yourself and to raise your consciousness. And whether you're embodied or not embodied, that journey remains consistent for you. So that's what we will tell you is our perspective of, quote unquote, the light versus the dark. When you have what you're perceiving or calling a death experience, we're going to call that an out-of-body experience.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's joining the show already. We know we are a few minutes early, but we also know that most of you are so ready to jump and start the show early with us. Thank you for doing that every single week. And the next question comes from our friend Eileen. Are there any cryptocurrencies that have integrity and are not nefarious?
So, Master, your whole monetary system is nefarious. That's the truth. Okay, that's the truth. Commodity-based systems have more nefarious energy to them than anything else. What you're looking for is a commodity-based system. That's going to end up being what we would perceive to be true value system. Cryptocurrencies are generally known as a non-commodity system, a fiat system, just like your paper-backed system has been since Nixon took you off of the gold standard here in the US. So many cryptocurrencies are not backed by commodity, which makes them more nefarious than commodity-backed currencies. Are there commodity backed cryptocurrencies? There are. Are there going to come more and more? Yes, we believe they are. Is your dollar going to be commodity backed? Yes. Is it already prepped and ready to go? Yes. Your banking systems already have those new currencies in their vaults ready to be distributed. So the cryptocurrencies and the physical, what we'll call the physical currencies, are pretty much the same. Mostly they're nefarious, ran by the elites or by the cabal or whoever you want to call, owns the banking system, which is about 6 families, and that's about it. And they're all nefarious because they use them to enslave you more than anything else. But there's nothing more nefarious than the etheric ones that have really no value other than what they're telling you. But you've been on that system for such a long time, such a long time. So that's what we can tell you, what we see about your cryptocurrencies.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question comes from Lovely Lauren. Hi, Lovely Lauren. Great to have you. I would like to hear what it looks like to ascend and descend without having a lifetime here. I heard you say we might not even choose a lifetime. So what would we descend into? Anything we choose?
Yeah, anything you choose, master. Anything you choose. So when you are embodied, you generally cannot remember all that you are. You have a hard enough time realizing you're all the same energy, or in other words, there's only one of us here. But humans tend to even think that just has to do with other humanoids or embodied being. That's all energy everywhere, master. So when we say that to you or to people who do not know themselves as source and perceive themselves to be individual and therefore perceive themselves to have an individuated experience, then you are in a choosing system, as you always are, no matter what, and in a creative system, and you are moving through thought and emotion in an infinite amount of ways. What we believe, we said that once you master the humanoid experience, many soul fractals don't repeat it over and over and over again once they've mastered the judgment aspect of it, and they experience other experiences, and some come and some don't, and some haven't even been here yet thus far. So, but what it comes down to is your choice, always. Always, even though it may seem or you've been programmed to believe that this has never been your choice, that is an incorrect statement. It's a program of falsehood. It's an inverted truth. You are always making your decisions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Another question live. It's from Sarah Earth. Hi, Sarah. Nice to have you here as usual. It appears this current U.S. administration, like previous ones, is doing apex bidding to the degree of making speech laws. What's behind this? Is it a facade to distract?
Most of your systems are just a bunch of facades, masters. They truly are. There's a narrative that is always playing itself out. Always playing itself out. There's always stuff behind the curtain and there's always stuff on the stage going on. It has never been any other way. It has never been any other way. If you are going to start to ask us political questions, we're going to bore the daylights out of you, because if you have any idea what's written in any of your laws or any of your agendas, we're talking about hundreds of pages of articles and things that can describe things to you. And most people are just going off of what they hear off of social media, which is a bunch of crud anyway. Did you notice we caught ourselves on that word? And we would suggest that you deeply educate yourself before having fear. That's what we would tell you. Most people have fear out of reactiveness and they are not educated on anything. Is your speech controlled? Of course it is. Is the stuff that's put out mostly false and inverted truth? Of course it is. Why? To manipulate you, to keep you from knowing you are source and to keep you controlled. Always. It's the same thing always. If you think you have free speech in any of your countries, you don't. You don't. You are shadow blocked, okay? Your videos are twisted and contorted to manipulate most of the time. There are some truths out there that is a true, but on the mass scale, it's all a bunch of crud. That is just an inverted script. Nobody, no government on this earthship right now truly honors 100% free speech. Not one. Not one. They can't, because it's too much governed by belief systems and programmed systems. Okay. And so that is yet to be experienced, the free speech aspect.
All right. Thank you so much. And now we're going for an offline question. It's a little bit long, okay? So bear with me. It's going to take probably like 45 seconds to read this. But, we owe this to our audience who gladly and happily and kindly sends us questions every single week. And this one is an offline question from S. My sweet and very normal 10-year-old daughter has recently and suddenly become very irrationally afraid of cigarettes and smoking, even though she has never been exposed to smoking in any way by her family, friends, or school. She asks me over and over again, repeating hundreds of times a day, but you don't think that I smoke, right? And you don't think that I will smoke. She has nightmares that she's smoking and that she likes it. If she sees a cigarette on the ground somewhere, she's afraid to go near it and cries about how she thinks that she sleepwalks there at night and smokes the cigarette from the ground, even though she knows that is a silly thought and that she does not sleepwalk. If her shoe touches a cigarette accidentally while at the park, she gets very upset and feels guilty. Now suddenly, when she eats chocolate or soy sauce, she thinks it tastes like cigarette, even though she has never smoked before and doesn't know what it tastes like. She thinks now her jeans and black pants make her look like a smoker or drug dealer. When she smells cigarette smoke, when a stranger is smoking nearby, she asks herself repeatedly if she likes the smell. And when she thinks she doesn't really mind the smells, her mind says that she will smoke. Okay, so there's a little few more things here. And finally, the question is, what is causing this and how can I help her stop these and heal her? Thank you.
She's watching programming. It's programming. Okay. We'll guarantee you she's being programmed and told somehow, some way, through the cartoons that she's watching, through videos that she's seen, through kids at school talking. Okay. You do not know what your 10-year-old is being exposed to. You don't. Okay. You may think you do, but you don't. If your 10-year-old has access to a device of any kind, she's being programmed. And that's your television at home, Master. That is your television at home. Okay. So this is showing you how destructive programming is. And they've ramped up the programming for kids. They have. We would tell you, turn everything off and homeschool her. That's what we will tell you. Because if you aren't, she's being programmed. She's being programmed. And that's what is going on, okay? The way they depict individuals, the way they depict kids, there's so much information out there about it being, smoking being a drug, because it is, and all kinds of things like that. So she's going through her cycles of fear. She's hearing from other kids. She may be seeing her other kids' parents smoking. You're not, if you are not with her in every moment of her waking day, Master, and you are living in a device-free environment, fully device-free. Your phone is off. The television is off. There's no computers to her access. She's not watching any type of cartoons of any kind, and you don't even own those things. That would be the only way for your statement to be true, okay? And your device doesn't even need to be on for that programming to be getting into her brain. Okay? Your devices are programming all of you even when they're turned off. That's what we're telling you. So she is reacting to the programming that is going on, and more than likely she's going to go through cycles of things that she's going to be afraid of. So she's showing you and telling you what programming her brain is picking up on.
Excellent. Thank you so much. She was adding at the end of her, description or exposition, I tried supportive listening, love, understanding, patient talks about smoking and people's fears. So I think that it's very clear after what Julius just said.
Well, what you can say too, Master, is every child should be reinforced that they create their reality. and that their decisions govern their reality. So smoking is a choice. It is a choice. And if she needs help making those decisions for her wellness and her well-being, that's what you're there for. But she chooses that. She chooses that. Okay. She does not going to be forced to do it, and she's not going to be required to do it unless her friends require her to do it, and she still gets to make a choice. So keep reinforcing to her that these are choices, these are choosings, and these are choices, and that you are her guardian and you are her angel, and you are there to assist her in making the healthiest choices she can for herself, and to demonstrate that to her in making very healthy choices with your own self as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next question comes from Ruth, and that's Ruth's question. Hey, Kasey, Julius, and Angel, thank you for answering my question last Sunday. I have found somewhere suitable to live and moving soon. We'll miss the cat here and dog next door, but time to move on. Much love, Ruth.
And we are sending you so much love, so much energy. You are safe. You are well. Extraordinary shifting time for you, Master. Keep moving in your high vibration. Just focus on your vibration, just making sure that all of those choices are in your highest vibrational interest, and all is well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The next question comes from Jenna. It's an offline question. It's the last offline question we have today, and that is her question. Very interesting, by the way. Hi, Julius. I've had white sage at home for smudging and cleansing for several months, but I didn't use it because it would barely burn and hardly produced any smoke. Mm-hmm. This was actually the second time I bought sage and ended up not using it due to having to relight it every few minutes. However, just last week, I decided to give it another try after a long break. And the amount of smoke it produced was incredible. Within minutes, my entire home was filled with smoke. That's interesting. Do you think there was a spiritual reason for that? Is it possible that the house was fully cleansed after this experience? The lingering smell is quite overpowering now. What can I burn to help get the scent back to normal? Thank you, Julius.
Yeah, so you're burning through the oils on the sage, Master. So depending on where you got your sage from, it can take a little while to catch it. It's like incense. Depending on how the incense is made, if it's got a lot of oils and a lot of tinctures involved with it, it can sometimes be hard to get that incense to catch and to have, a long tailing effect for smoke. Sage can be a great clearer, but then, Master, you need to put something into your house. So it is very often practiced that after you use sage, you incense your house or you Palo Santo your house. So you're clearing that negative energy out, but then you want to put good energy into your house. So we don't support just saging. It clears, but it leaves everything open. So set your intention. If you're going to use those techniques, put something back into your environment. That's what we will tell you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We loved that mug. It's beautiful.
Now check this out. Check out my mug, everybody. Look at the details on that skull. With the mushrooms.
It's a skull. Absolutely.
It is a handcrafted skull. This is made by Mugs by Moonlight. I have the most amazing mugs. And the person who owns this company does happen to be my daughter, and she will make things to order for you. But this is this is one of her first skull mugs. Everything's handcrafted. So I love skulls. Skulls represent infinite wisdom from galactic aspects and galactic universes and galaxies. And a lot of times she puts crystals too. She embeds crystals, in her mugs. But I snatched this one from her before she had the opportunity to put crystals in. So the crystals will go in next week.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much. I'm glad I was able to ask that question. Let's go to the next question online from Christine Goebel. Hello, Julius. Will this timeline experience a great shut down? If so, when and how long? Thank you.
Well, we're not sure what you're talking about, shut down. We know that there's been lots of narrative for many years that there's going to be a 10-day, supposed 10-day blackout of the internet and things like that, interrelated to a currency revaluing reset, or interrelated to shifting over to a Starlink system, or interrelated to Nasara Jasara, being converted out. We do not see that happening. We do not see that happening. It makes no sense to do that. Technologically, they don't have to do that. Now, we know that you also have been told that during that time, there will be massive broadcasts that will be revealing many, many, many things to you. We think that they've scrapped that, to be perfectly honest. They're doing a drip feed of information for you now, and that's going to continue to come in. The shock factor and the panic factor of things being shut down, not to mention the danger of things being shut down, it does not feel like they're going that direction.
All right, thank you so much. The next question comes from Emma Freeman. Hello, lovely beings. I had a dream recently that I pulled a snake tongue out of my mouth. It had one fork and black thread on it. My taste buds have changed, and I am suddenly standing up for myself.
Okay, so what is your question?
All right. So, Emma, obviously you are online, so feel free to complement that statement, and then we'll be able to ask Julius. Thank you. Let's go to the next question. From Sarah Sultana. Great mug, Kasey. Hi, everyone. Julius, I love wireless. Do EMF blocking stickers work?
Yes, they can. They can work depending on what they're made out of. There's several things that can help with EMF, dangers, especially on your phone. We highly recommend those things. Yes, if they're of good quality, they look like this. They're this thing right here on the back of the phones. Okay. And they help to block EMF. Yes, they are helpful.
All right, thank you so much. By the way, Adrienne is back in the house. Adrienne, we actually we answered to one of the questions that was left from the previous show, so that when we are done, you can go to the beginning of our recording and you will see the answer to your question. Obviously, we are extremely happy that we were able to do that. Okay, so, and Emma Freeman is saying, I also keep dreaming and seeing butterflies and dragonflies everywhere. It feels like I'm constantly on the verge of a massive change. And she adds, no question, just wanted to share. Hugs and kisses. Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing that. We just wanted to make sure that we were not missing anything. Okay, so thank you. All right, so the next question is from the one and only Charity Thornton. Charity, great to have you here. And the question is, Julius, I thought it strange that I have been working overtime on my vibration, making sure I'm vibrating as high as I can in every present moment, and I've been feeling amazing. Today, when I washed my face this morning, I noticed something black in my eye. I dug it out, and it looked like a small wad of hair or strings of some sort. I'm trying to figure out what the heck this was because I think my high vibration pushed it out. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fantastic. So your eyes are a disposal system for parasites. In fact, there is a study called iridology, and a good iridologist can read your health through your eyes. They'll actually study your eyes. You'll just literally sit there and they'll gaze into your eyes, and they can detect all kinds of conditions throughout the whole body through the eyes. But parasites, you can see parasites in the eye, and they can exit your body through the eye, and they can enter your body through your eye. So it feels like forms of parasites. If you are doing high vibrational practices, we're going to assume that may be including detoxing for you, some forms of detoxing. And even if you aren't doing an actual detoxing protocol for yourself, if you have reduced the amount of preservative filled foods to raise your vibration, because that's key to raising your vibration is your diet as well, then your body is doing a natural detoxification process for itself.
All right, thank you so much. The next question comes from Sarah R. I was drifting to sleep the other night and half dreaming. I heard a woman's voice saying fünf, which is number 5 in German. I took German classes years ago, but don't think in it. Was it a message or reminder?
So, Master, it could be you speaking to your own self, okay? 5, it can be a representation of the 5th level of consciousness. It could be a being that is speaking to you. Could be a very kind, a very loving, and very nurturing being that is walking through the pathway of your hologram, that is stepping in between the veils of your sleeping state and what you're calling your dreaming state, which actually is not accurate. You're either always dreaming or you're always awake. There's no such thing as a dream state. You're always experiencing some form of realism or something that is going on. It's just that when you are, as you declared, Master, feeling like you're kind of in that drift state, where you're shifting from one form of consciousness into another form of consciousness. That's the best way that we can describe that. You are shifting the hologram, basically turning the page on the hologram, and there's all kinds of characters waiting for you in there.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from the one and only Greg Nyman Jr., who was, as usual, one of the first members of our audience joining the show. And that's his question. Amazing mug, absolutely. It is an amazing mug. Julius, we have been having extremely high pollen counts here in Georgia. Is this nefarious in nature? That's his question. Also, I have been doing chlorine dioxide protocol, and that seems to have reset my allergies.
Yeah. So the pollen is a byproduct of the frequencies they're putting out. So they're flooding everything with frequencies, and it's causing an over release. So what they've done is they've accelerated the release of pollen. So pollen normally has a more balanced distribution of itself for over a time period of months. It's actually no more pollen than you would have been distributed over a time period. It's just that the frequencies initiated a heavy dump. So did the tornado, the artificial tornado that they had pushed through here. And yes, chlorine dioxide will navigate and basically cause a reset on your allergies, okay? Because your allergies are an imbalance in your system. They're an imbalance in your system. And the imbalance is usually caused by toxicities, and chlorine dioxide is going to help balance that and detox you, but it also rebalances your pathogen system, which will take care of allergies for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And now we have a question from Adriana. I have a question today. Do you think that the huge increase of violence is caused by the CERN? By the way, this is the Centre Européen de Recherche Nucléaire, which means the European Center for Nuclear Research, the Pope opening portals, or the fake weed that is being sold in dispensaries throughout some states?
So, Master, your violence is all part of the programmed system. It's all part of the programmed system. Okay, the Hadron Collider that comes out of CERN is shifting the portals, opening wormholes, creating new timelines all the time. But everything is affecting the violence. Your music, your food, the things that you're watching, the devices, the vaccines, your teachings, your theories, all of your programming is causing the violence. That's what we will tell you.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question from Charity Thornton. Hey, Julius, can you tell us the process we go through coming from source into these physical vessels?
Mm.
How does that work?
So, Master, if you go to our website, channelingjoyous.com, there is a teaching there called the creative process, and it'll take you all through that answer. There's different audios on it, and there's also different videos on it. It takes a little bit of time for us to explain all of that to you, and this is a rapid fire platform. So please see that on the website, or better yet, you can contact Sue Dolan at support@channelingjoyous.com, and she can direct you and show you where that teaching is, and it'll take you thoroughly into understanding how you create everything, Master.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. And now it's the time. It's the time of the show in which we present you with an incredible special sessions, workshops, all sorts of activities that will help you expand your own consciousness. Because remember what we do at Expansion Network, which is accelerating the consciousness of humanity. All right, so let me share with you guys immediately what happens when you scan this QR code that you see at the top right corner of your screen. When you go there, as you see today, it says personal readings, and it's gonna take you exactly here. Let me share this with you. All right, exactly, it's gonna take you here where you will see what are the personal readings. As the name indicates, obviously that means that you are going to have the possibility to have Julius to offer you, to give you personal readings of both 30 and 60 minutes. Let me go and share this beautiful, share this beautiful QR code here and hide this one over there. All right, because it is really amazing. All right, okay, here we are. This is the amazing personal readings with Julius. Kasey Speer, would you be so kind to share with the audience what those are going to represent?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
ones that take them.
Yeah, well, this is your personal sessions that you can have with Joyous, channeled through me. These sessions are available on two different platforms of your choice. One is Zoom, so they're live. They can be live with me and Joyous. And another platform, if you don't have Zoom available to you, or if you aren't comfortable being on Zoom, then we do it through the telephone, through the Instant Teleseminar platform. They're recorded, of course, for you, and you get to keep your recording. And the feedback on the personal readings are that they're the most thorough readings that people have ever had. Julius goes into great detail for your understanding, for your questions, and what are going on in your life. But I always try to tell people, and this is described in the personal readings with Julius also, Julius does not do predictions for you. They will always support that you create your reality. Having said that, if there is something you're trying to manifest in your life, or trying to resolve in your life, or go in a particular direction, that reading can help guide you from Joyous on how to do those things. The other thing that Joyous does not do is give you financial advice. Believe it or not, people try to get financial advice from Joyous, and Joyous isn't going to go down that road. We always try to encourage people to spend the time with Joyous, asking about you, your personal journey, your difficulties, your challenges, what to do in overcoming those things. The other thing that Joyous steers away from is information on other people other than you. So don't be using Joyous as a private investigator. They're not going to do that for you. So this is all about you. Generally leaning into the opportunity to ask questions about your state of consciousness and everything about your journey that there's nobody else out there that can give you the depth of information that Joyous can. And so it is an absolute pleasure to be able to provide those for you. And if it resonates with you, I look forward to the opportunity. We always do recommend that you have your questions ready ahead of time, so you're not caught up in the experience with Julius and you can't think of things. So we always tell everybody, have three to 4 or 5 questions ready for you to move through on your personal sessions, so they can be filled, jam-packed with as much useful information for you as possible given the time allotment.
Absolutely. And let me also read a few things that you can find at the website of channelingjulius.com. So basically, one of the few, or just a few of the ways that you will be helped with a personal reading from Julius is assistance on your conscious journey, as Kasey was very well explaining, help identifying self-sabotaging patterns, unleashing hidden issues or blind spots in your life, deepening the understanding of self and who you are, and assist in you in becoming the best version of yourself. Again, there's 2 options, 30 minutes and 60 minutes. Okay, so as usual, we always leave the QR codes up for the entire show in case you want to scan and know and sign up for those workshops, in this case for this personal reading, and send an email to our production team at support@channelingjulius.com, support@channelingjulius.com. And actually, we already have some comments, and let's stop sharing this, because obviously you can take your camera from your phone and just point it at the QR code, and you will be taken to that landing page, that specific location on the channelingjulius.com website, where you can sign up for those readings. We already have actually Greg Nyman saying readings with Kasey and Julius are one of a kind, totally life changing. I highly recommend them. Absolutely, that's exactly what happens. All right, so let's go through some other questions that we have. Hold on a second, because we just have a couple of questions additional from Charity Thornton and from Christine Goebel. And the question from Charity is, Julius, can you tell us about the original race of beings that inhabited Tara? It must
Master,
be beings, I guess.
There's
Tara.
There's multiple forms of beings that inhabit Terra always and from the beginning. That's what we're going to tell you. And there are beings on the outside of Terra and on the inside of Terra. So this person is referring to the Earth ship when she says Terra. That is one of the words, one of the names that humanoids have given the Earth ship. There's many of them. But Terra it has life on the inside as well as the outside, and there is way more than one type of species or being that quote unquote originally came. You have an infinite amount of beings that are here, Master, and we assume that when you say beings, you're talking about sentient beings, forms of sentient beings that are soul-based. So that question is too vast and varied. If you believe there's only one, you have extremely limited information. Just like there is now, there are vast arrays of species and beings, upright walking, humanoid type of formated beings on this Earth ship, inside this Earth ship. And also remember, Master, that you are dealing with far more dimensions and realms than you believe you are. So that's what we will say.
All right, thank you so much. Next question from Christine Goebel. Can you explain the vaults thing? That one sounds very interesting. Or should I get a reading first? Can't decide. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Master, the vaults are trapped traumas that you have accumulated that you have not dealt with, and they have become trapped and they become accumulated, and these vaults are blocking these traumas from being processed and cleared out of your energetic body, which is affecting your energy frequency, and it is affecting the way that you project your energy and receive energy. So the vaults are an accumulation, usually from many timelines and many lifetimes of a very similar, if not the exact same emotional issue that you're not dealing with. Either you've tucked it away and not dealt with it, didn't finish it from one lifetime to the other, or it's just one of those trapped, repetitive things that you just don't seem to find resolve from. You never have a vault from only one lifetime or one experience. So the vaults exist in your energy bodies. You have 7 energy bodies from your physical body, and the vaults can sit in many of those areas. Now, there's a lot of vaults. But the good news is that the vaults hold a lot of energy. So even having 1, 2, 3, hundreds of vaults, whatever you want to do, removed, it changes and it shifts the flow of your energy. So all of that is very, very, very useful. If you have questions about either that or the readings, you can get that support through our support systems, but they're very different than what a reading is. During a vault session, Master, you do get information about what the trauma is and usually get a little bit of a storyline and consistency over how that has come for you. And the clearing of that is energetically, it's very intense, where a reading won't have the energy shift for you, but a vault session generally shifts your energy quite a bit.
Excellent. Thank you for the explanation. I think that this is definitely a doubt that many people have because, you know, we do so many things we have offered in those 101 episodes of the Ask Julius show. We have answered so many hundreds of questions. I'm sure that we are well above 1,000. I don't know how many, but, you know, we have offered so many different sessions. We have definitely helped our audience to expand their consciousness in so many different ways. So that explanation was so needed. Thank you so much. Kasey, let's go to the next question from our friend Sony. Hi, Sony. How are you? Hi, beautiful souls. I'm curious if the state of wonderment and deep appreciation of the unknown are our best state to be in life, no matter what. Thank you.
Yes, because Master, you are source exploring itself, knowing itself, expanding itself. The platform that you're using is the Earthship Realm platform for your holographic projection of what you're thinking and how you're feeling. That has become a major distraction for you, and you've lost a lot of insight or sight for your intention of what you're doing here and why you're doing here. Okay. So seeing beyond the hologram, seeing through what is immediately in your face is always valuable, Master, always valuable. Okay. The hologram itself and your lives tend to be very, very limited in what your thoughts are and what your emotions are. And a lot of the holographic projection is based on previous. And a whole lot of it is based on regurgitating previous. And your soul never intended for this Earthship to end up that way for it. It's a never-ending creative platform. And the only way that you can experience that, Master, is to keep your thoughts moving beyond your common thought, your comfortable thought, and your mundane thought energy frequencies.
All right, fair enough. The next question comes from Rebecca. Do you believe that ancient civilizations like Atlantis were actually extraterrestrial outposts and their advanced technology is being secretly hoarded by governments to create a future where humanity merges with AI?
So, Master, time does not exist. So ancient is not an accurate word. They're in another timeline. Time is a continuum or a continued state of the moment of now. So all of those civilizations that we think you are curious about exist just in another timeline. So you don't have to dig them up and you don't have to time travel backwards. You step into other timelines, and that technology is not ancient. It is of the now. Is high technology being held back from you? Of course it is, because most of that technology would reinforce your brain being fully activated, in which case you would know yourself as source and you couldn't be controlled. AI technology is not something that is bad, but the issue with AI is it all depends on who's programming the AI. And most people programming the AI are not of high consciousness. So an artificial intelligent platform or being will be a low level of consciousness experience. And we don't recommend that in any form.
All right, thank you so much. We have a question. Sony says, thank you, of course. Anytime. And then Summer. Is medical medium Anthony William part of the Illuminati since he gives lots of signs, such as he's called AW, like the founder of the Illuminati? He works and is endorsed by Hollywood celebrities.
Master, we're not going to give you personal information on another being. That's for you to do your research on. What we can tell you is he's part of a system of control. That's what we will tell you.
All right, thank you so much. And then the next question comes from, 1 second, we have to go to a list of offline questions. Is the soul a consciousness?
So you don't have a soul. There's no such thing as a soul. All energy is one soul. It's source. Okay. So source is all thought, and thought expanded itself into its own ability to process itself as thought or know itself through emotions. So soul is the version of conscious thought that has the ability to know itself through emotional interpretation. So they are not separate in any way. You have been programmed to think of things as separate and singular, but energy frequency is not separate from itself in any way. So we're going to support that a soul, what you're calling a soul. We will say soul energy is the emotional processor of thought or of itself, because it's actually the same energy frequency.
All right, thank you so very much. And let me go to another question. That's an offline question from Janavi Nadia. You mentioned karmic debt. What is this and how does it work?
Yeah, so karmic debt is where you usually end up cheating or shortchanging somebody, and it's going to catch up with you, and you'll end up getting cheated and shortchanged. It's very much a karmic wheel, okay, and it comes in many forms. When you say debt, a lot of people think of just money, and that is the truth. But it is also medical. It can also be consciousness. It can also be love and empathy and issues of that nature. Now, when people are in karmic wheels, the reason that they stay in karmic wheels is because of judgment. And judgment keeps you in a state to where you create this seemingly never ending process of getting back at somebody who wronged you. And it goes round and round and round and round and round. Eventually, you will let go of that system and you will let go of that experience when you rise above judgment. And when you are operating from unity consciousness, which means that everything that you do, say, and be is interrelated to the wellness and benefit of the all. So you aren't cheating or shortchanging and things of that nature. So we hope that answered your question for you sufficiently. Sometimes we have conversations with people and they'll say, I want you to do something for free. And we would say, well, what's the exchange? Because we don't want a karmic debt. Okay. We don't want a hole hanging out there for either us or you. Okay. Or you. If you cheat somebody, if you take something without some type of an exchange, you're going to get a karmic debt as well. So remember, everything is two-sided when it comes to karma. So that's probably what you've heard us refer to.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then Sony has another question. Well, let's take Adrian's first because it's referring to one we just asked. That was a good question. So what leaves the body when we part ways from the physical?
Energy essence, the soul. Yeah. But that's thought and emotion energy, Master. It's consciousness. It is consciousness, which is activating all of the systems of the physical body. So you can think of it, if you are, you're asking us to give you a definitive word, but it's a synonym system. So we'll say thought, consciousness, soul, emotion, energy frequency, okay? Quantum energy, the void, point zero aspect. Those are all synonyms of the same energy known commonly as source.
All right, then this is going to be the last question of today's show, again from Sony Dean. Julius, are an anti-gravity devices something of our near future devices that will allow us to travel easily on Earth and beyond? Thank you again.
Well, they're already here, Master. So you're asking us probably more if they're going to release them. They already have released them. You can see them. They're being used. There's plenty of videos out there. They aren't openly accessible to you, but yeah, they're there. Then they've always been there. We're not even going to use the term they've been there for a long time. They've always been there, always been there. But here's the coolest thing, Master. Even better or more efficient. You are your own anti-gravity device. Whether you know that to be true or not, it is the truth. You have the ability to raise your vibration and take your physical body up off of the earth through a light field. It is only the density of your material particles that leaves you landing on the earth. And that's a vibration. That's a vibration. That's about an 8 to 10 hertz vibration. But you have the ability to raise your vibration and you can levitate. Go ahead. Go fly around. You know you do. You all know you do. You all, quote unquote, dream about flying. Always. Okay. It's like you have weighted shoes on, and mostly they've done that to you through programming because you just don't think that you do levitate or that you can go anti-gravity and spin all around like a vortex. But Master, that's your natural, authentic frequency. And as you raise your consciousness, you can and will activate that truth for you. But to go back to your question, the devices are out there. They are already available. They are not readily available to the mass public. We can't tell you when they're going to do that. We are not under the governing control of that decision.
All right, and I'm just reminding everybody of those personal readings with Julius that are available actually this week, but always are available. And this week they have a special pricing for you, both of 30 or 60 minutes. Okay, it's up to you to decide. They have a special pricing. And that was the last question of today's show. Thank you so much for being here with us. As always, it's been our pleasure. It was the show number 101 of the Ask Julius show. And as we always say, you just have to go and see and watch the show again, QR code scanning, and then you will be in the wonderful world of our specials this week. These incredible personal readings for you that have so many benefits as we described during the show. And the elephant in the room, that's why I left some space for today. The last question is, what is Easter really? What is Easter really?
All of your holidays are satanic ritualed holidays. That's what we will tell you. That's what we will tell you. Okay? All of them. All of them. The dates are particular on satanic rituals and satanic beliefs. That is the truth. But, with love, masters, set your own intention for your own type of celebration. Focus on that, which would mean that you shift and change out of traditions that have really been embedded for you to follow. So if you want to celebrate some form of a holiday and you want it to be in the loving aspect way of that holiday, what we would recommend is, number one, do it on a different date. Do it on a different date because the dates are very specific and specifically targeted to satanic ritual practices and dates. So we would recommend you either do it the day before or the day after. And we would encourage you to come up with your own traditions and your own formats to find celebrations of love for yourself, because all of the things that the globes tend to follow is everything programmed, and you're feeding right into that energy. You're mostly not aware of it, and they love that. They really, really love that. Okay. And so that's what we will tell you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So any final comments, statements, questions, Kasey, before we go?
Yeah, now is actually the new year. The 1st of April was actually the new year, according to the Julian calendar, which makes sense, right? With all the beautiful things that the springtime births for everybody. So we're going to support. You're in your new year energetically. January is just the Gregorian calendar aspect, but April is actually your new year. So take that in consideration and bring all of your creativity out, all of your mastery out, all of your manifestation, all your wellness practices, and get out there and be the most magnificent beings. Enjoy every flower that is blooming. Enjoy every conversation, every piece of laughter, every detail of your life, masters, and think of everything as self-love and priority of self. Let's make it a great year, right? If you're going to go ahead and use that narrative for yourselves, all things possible, masters. You are the most amazing beings.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was the last comment of today's show. Thank you so much for being with us. Next week is going to be the 27th of April, and it's going to be our next show. It's going to be show number 102 of the Ask Julius Show. Again, as usual, thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to scan the QR code. Don't forget to take your personal readings, because they are going to change your life. As Greg Nyman Jr. was saying, thank you so much. We love you. See you soon. Bye-bye.